This episode of the Devinwade Show is brought to you by Ace the Engineer, the only other audio engineer I trust to mix the Devinwade Show. If you want your stuff to sound professional, make sure to hit up Ace the Engineer, unless he's with like Beyonce or Patti LaBelle or some shit like that at the moment. Follow Ace the Engineer on IG at Ace the Engineer.
Dev Nasty!
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to another episode of the Devinwade Show. I am your host, Dev Nasty, aka Dangerous Dev Nasty, aka Choke Your Mama, aka Choke Your Pop Out. And we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff that's going on in the news because it's just so much there's goofy shit going on in the world. But before we get to that, to the left of me.
Hello, beautiful people. You already know it's your girl, Walesca D, the fashionista, the girl that just sets all the trends, the girl that's just here today. Honestly, I'm keeping it very minimal and simple today. Shout out to all the fans that just be giving me compliments in the chat. I appreciate y'all, especially Duran. Like, you really be overdoing the compliments, and because even on a bad day, I be feeling good. He be like, you know, he always calls me like, Wally Sade. Like, ooh. I had to ask him, like, who's Sade? At first, I didn't realize it was Sade, like the music artist, like Sade. I thought that was just like a term he was using. And I'm like, what is Sade? He's like, no, like, you remind me of Sade. So I appreciate you.
Shout out to you, bro. We need to bring you on the show. Could he have a shot?
Basically, it's working. Duran, keep going. It's working. It's working.
I got love for you, Duran. I got love for you.
Listen, we see light in the tunnel.
Listen, man, it could happen. Listen,
nah, that's the homie. That's the homie.
Somebody tried to talk trash about your cornrows, yo. They disrespected your.
You know what? Yeah, Monica Malata.
Monica, yeah.
But
Monica.
we gonna get to her in a little bit.
Wow.
Because you know Monica, I love her, but you know to the left of me.
Maybe
right
y'all
now.
need to mud wrestle before this is all over. You and Monica.
Live
here.
Wow. Of course you would want that.
Live.
Of course
Yo, all right, never mind. It's your boy, Double P. It's the kid, man. Listen, it's your boy, man. Pressure Porter. It's all pressure coming. We've been applying pressure all 2022. What you think 2023 gonna look like? Double the pressure on y'all. Let's go.
You heard the boy, man. And of course, we got the Nasty Girls with us to the left of me.
Yeah, come on,
Angelina, where you been?
Shy now. It's been a while.
Oh my God.
Yo, this is the thing. It has been a while. Look, before that, she was hopping on the joint. This your favorite white girl. She was out here wilding.
Yeah.
Right. Now
She forgot who she
acting
was.
new.
She forgot.
Acting new now. What is going on? We got to get her a drink or something, man. We don't know what's going on. But we got Angelina in the building. And, of course, we got the Mix Mud with the big boom.
Hey, guys. It's your favorite
mulatto.
It's your favorite mulatto, Monica, and we're at the Devinwade Show. And we have a hater in the couch to the right of me.
You were hating on her braids earlier.
I said she can pull it off. I can't.
Monica,
oh, yeah. No,
Monica,
she did.
You gave me a compliment, Monica. You gave me a compliment. Okay.
Monica has not been around no toxic niggas. How we know? Because the sound system sounds perfect.
The sound system, my mic is cool now.
No defects.
She glowing. Look at that hair. She got that curly hair out, that natural beauty.
Right.
Yeah, you was on your Walesca stuff earlier looking at her ass.
Well, because she has a natural butt. So she was just walking by. I was like, oh, go ahead, Monica.
Look at
Your
my
big butt.
Wally always gay.
Yeah, I heard her talking about it.
Wally always borderline like gayish.
Well, but the thing is that I give compliments to women. I don't mind.
And you
doing
flirty.
that.
And you big flirty. So
I am a flirt.
You got no pics when you flirt.
But I don't want the female. I just like to give compliments.
I can dig it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Woman empowerment type vibes.
All the way.
But you know a gay woman might want to.
They might, yeah.
Might want to munch. They might want to munch.
We got to tread lightly when it comes to that.
Yeah,
I got to be careful who.
They might want to ice spice you.
Hold on. So speaking of treading lightly, right? This the thing, y'all. We appreciate y'all tuning in every week for the Devinwade Show, watching us. You know, we know you could be watching a billion other things. Right. And since the podcast boom, so many other podcasts have came out. So we appreciate everybody that tunes in with us. Yes. But the crazy part is she talked about how you gotta kind of like walk on eggshells. People don't know when you're making this kind of content and putting it on YouTube, there's a lot of censorship and censorship that's involved, where people are afraid to speak out and say certain things that's just their opinion, because if it don't hurt you right now, it could hurt you 10 years from now, the way that they like dig up an old clip. Back then it only had 10,000 views. 5 years from now, it might, somebody could put it, the same clip out that you already said and put out, and it do 10 million views, and now you're getting, canceled. And, last week there was a situation where we had talked about Kanye West on the episode, but, and we gave our opinions on certain things. Another podcast, Drink Champs, had Kanye come onto the platform, and he said a lot of, I don't even want to use the word crazy. He said a lot of controversial things, let's say, things that would definitely upset people. And Nori and all of them was all on there and kind of let him do him. Yeah. And Nori did have some pushback, some rebuttals that he, to have him see it, but they kind of conceded in a sense by letting him say what he said, and I'll support you. It wasn't but 24 hours later, and it was Apology Central. You know what I'm saying? Apology tour. Did you get to check out anything? Either one of y'all?
I definitely caught clips. I ain't get to like tap into the whole thing, to be honest. But I caught clips, of course. I caught like the highlight shit. And I don't know, man. It's like, it's difficult, bro, because you gotta think about everybody in these type of situations. A lot of times we think about like just the celebrities or people who kind of like more successful. Okay. They to me, this is my opinion. Sometimes it comes out like these are the most important people that we need to worry about, and kind of like, just let people speak and worry about because they're going through something, and let things get off their chest. And we forget about like, small regular people and people like, the man's family, you know what I mean? And things of that nature.
Hold on, so we gotta stay on point on what we talking about, on whose family.
I'm talking about on like George Floyd's family.
Okay, so just so we not assuming that people tapped in, tuned in, but it was basically that when that joint came on, Kanye kind of picked up that rhetoric that a lot of people on a certain side say, oh, George Floyd didn't die from a knee in his back. They said he died from fentanyl overdose or whatever. Right. Like he said, his exact words were, his knee wasn't even on his back like that. Right. And that was kind of wild when everybody saw a 9-minute long crazy video where then he died. It's insane.
And after we seen the video, we watched the trial where experts proved that this man's wind circulation was cut off by the man's knee to his neck. Right. So I felt how everybody else felt when Kanye said that. At the same time, and I'm not making no excuses for Kanye, he was wrong. Kanye was wrong in my eyes for going into that for whatever reason, right? Because it's so delicate. But then, we do got to talk about just the fact that I do feel like he wasn't in the best state. I don't feel like he's in the best state. And this is just my opinion from afar. I don't feel like he's in the best state. And I feel like
the best state of mind.
The best state of mind, right? Where people going through mental health shit, all kinds of shit. And I just feel like if you do love me, and you see myself walking into some more trouble, right? And you love me and you could stop me and you could detour me, you could shut the door and not even let me in, right? If you think it's gonna make me more problems. But at the same, and I'm not talking about Nori. I'm just talking about in general with this type shit.
All right, I'll talk about Nori. I'm a Nori. No. I'll say Nori. I'll be specific. I'm a Noriega fan, right, nigga? Like, I'm talking about back in the day, smoke bogey, short like Shinobi, shoot up your block, them like, me. I love Noriega, but I could still say, yo, if I use the words that you say, I could apply that directly to him. That's your man, you love him. Right. There's been people that I wouldn't let on this show, that's my friends, and that I did let on the show once they was in a certain mindset because I was worried about what they would say on the show that would hurt them. It would help my ratings because I know they was going to say some wild shit. Yeah. And I was like, nah, you can't come on my show because I won't trade that for views. The same way you don't come on here and we just be on here talking about fuck so-and-so. Like, how easy it's actually not a mad science thing to get views. If you really wanted to get the views over principle, I could just come on this show and say fuck and put in whatever blank rapper, and niggas will start sharing. Devin Wade said, fuck so-and-so, fight me, nigga. It'll be everywhere.
Right.
But that's not worth that to me. I don't want that. So they kind of traded in and said, we want to get that viewership.
Right.
And what I will say is Nori did kind of somewhat admit to that. He said he shouldn't have did it because they already won. They already scored the touchdown. With the Kanye thing, they went to spike the ball. And they regret spiking
and I just feel like you regret because I believe that Nori does have love for Kanye.
Right.
And it wasn't just straight up for my career. And I do felt that, you know, after that, I felt like the man definitely probably, because, you know, he said, yo, the man's daughter is named after me. Like, you know, we got like a little special little bond.
But do
you know
we think that he knew like Kanye was going to say that?
No.
Yes.
You think he did?
Kanye already made those comments about he made comments about the Dws J's. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because you know, they might think I'm saying something, and next thing you know, they demonetizing the episode. He said something about the Dws J's, you know what I'm saying? And everybody knew he was wilding.
Right.
So they said, come on to this platform with it, right?
Right.
Then he comes on that platform and he shared other rhetoric that was just like ridiculous. And what happens is, I said on the previous episode, Kanye could be a musical genius. He could be all of these great things that we love. That does not mean that they have the right head for something else.
Right.
Being a musical expert doesn't make you an expert in all other things.
Correct.
And it's not even a bad thing. Like, bro, you just don't know about that. That's cool. But you do have that voice, so you get to say
your opinion,
certain things. And a bunch of people now said just what I said. Even their own black celebrity said that George Floyd didn't. Now they got something to hold on to.
Exactly.
And for real, like it just came. And again, this is not in Kanye's defense. These are just the facts. And I just want, you know, the people to be aware of the facts. You know, when we pick them up, we like to share them. But, and it, you know, it came out that he was, you know, because again, I don't feel like he was in the right frame of mind. I feel like he sat down and basically just repeated some shit, right? Because they say all that information really stems from the girl Candace Owens documentary. They say all the information about the fentanyl, George Floyd, him passing away, not being by the cop, putting his knee to his neck, that whole motherfucking story and that all that talking like that came from Candace Owens. Because Candace Owens did a documentary on George Floyd and said all of that shit. That his family, so-called, didn't even care about him because they didn't pick up his belongings when after he got killed. They said his belongings or something. And I don't know how true any of this stuff is. I'm just telling y'all what's been said and why people are saying what they're saying. Candace Owens said that, I don't know what else reason she had, but she said that the family didn't even pick up the man's belongings after him passing. Everything was just left at his house. Nobody cared, this and that. And they was trying to say that he was a fentanyl ex-user,
But even if he was a fentanyl ex-user, right? Let's just say if that was the case, right? That doesn't necessarily. So is the argument? Not the argument is what they're trying to say is he was on fentanyl in that moment, and that's what he died from.
So what this would be like is, and watch my words carefully, y'all. If you had Vidco,
got you
right? If you had Vidco,
got you,
and you died in a car accident. There were people that said that marked people down as dead from Vidco when really like, no, he could have had Vidco,
right?
But he died from a car accident, a fucking steering wheel crushed his head, right? So, and I'm not even saying that that's the situation with him. I'm saying even if you was using that argument, it's like, no, we watched what the actual cause was, and Porta's right. It's taking information from one source. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to have people looking at you as whatever they call Kanye West and all kind of things like that, because it's all right. For example, I go and I make a bunch of money with a certain kind of person, right? I make all of this money, Monica. But then when we have a disagreement, I run back to my people and try to wage this war with them. But I made all of this money over here.
Yeah.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? You only was ready to involve the people to come fight for you when you have a disagreement with them people. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the same time, when you speak about money on a certain level, I mean, he said stuff like, he said somebody tried to offer him a baby B. I don't know where $1 billion is a little bit to anybody. Like, it's just
who said that?
Was
Kanye? He called it a baby billion.
was the
And somebody
mama?
offered him that for what?
I don't know. Regardless of what it was for, what I'm saying is you're talking from a place of like, you different now.
Yeah.
I get it. You got money. But
Right.
whenever you refer, and it's like all these things, you have to listen with discernment to everything. And it's like, all right, you in a different mind frame when you like, you know what I mean? A light billion. You know what I mean? It's a little light billion. Okay, you in a different realm. You coming down to get the people that there's no such thing as a light billion to these people. The people that you want to now fight for you, but you're not relating to those people
At
all
all.
the rest of the time. All the rest of the time, you just screaming, Balenciaga, Hilfiger,
Right.
some Italian name the whole time. Like that's all you do the whole time. You're not relating to the people when you're not even naming people that they could relate to because you only idolize a certain kind of
People.
person. And that's where I think a lot of this is coming from. And then as far as the situation with him talking about Ooze Jays, at a certain point, Steve Rifkin, you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Steve Rifkin showed up to the actual interview.
Oh.
Yeah, he showed up. He had a flight to catch or something. He came in. Kanye saw him. They hugged and embraced because Steve Rifkin, for y'all that don't know, was the creator of Loud Records.
Yep.
Loud Records brought us all of these dope people, Mobb Deep, you know what I'm saying?
Wu-Tang.
Big Pun, Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
So what's crazy is Wu-Tang was referred to at one point in this interview, and people feel a way about Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang is for the children and all that. Without Steve Rifkin, Wu-Tang Clan would not have existed in the way that we saw them.
Right.
Because he believed in the RZA vision
He
of
did.
we're going to do this and everybody can have their own individual record
Yep.
deals and all of that. So when he makes a point when Steve Rifkin leaves to say something like everybody cheered about us being signed to a Ooze J. At the end of the day, it don't matter who he was signed to. And he said, name one. He made a point that I don't know was a real point where he said, name a black person that has a Ooze J signed to them. Right? And it could make you stop for a second and be like, damn, but what black person is looking to sign? If person saw Little Dicky popping on the internet, was niggas trying to sign them? Or was niggas going and signing people that made the kind of music that
Right.
they fucked with?
Right.
So some of the points don't really land if you think them all the way out.
Right.
So for me, I just feel like people need to listen to that shit with discernment. Don't
take everything that he's saying. Take it with a grain of salt.
Was
listen
the mama
to
thing
Yeah,
real?
for real.
When he said that the girlfriend, George Floyd, he was calling for his girlfriend and not his mama, was that real?
I have no idea.
I think he was having a really manic episode. He's diagnosed bipolar.
Bipolar.
So, I mean, I wouldn't believe half the shit he said.
Yeah, and that's what people got to understand too. Like he's going through what he's going through clearly. And the sad part is that after that, you're going on a world tour of apology. So it's just like if what you're saying is valid, or if you believe that, just saying your opinion rather than saying like this is what it is, because he comes off like, no, this is the fact. Like not like, in my opinion, I think that blah 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 blah. No, you're coming from a space of like, you have this in black and white and this is factual, and now you kind of go back and then you have people. Well, you go back and you start apologizing to the people you hurt when you're saying.
Well, I haven't seen him apologize. I've only seen Nori.
Who, Kanye?
Yeah,
He's gonna apologize soon. Because you've seen him do it before, though. Because if we go back to like a couple weeks ago,
back was it a couple years ago where he said that slavery was a choice. It was a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
To go back on his meds.
Remember,
Right.
he just cleared it up with Sway and finally told Sway he was right.
and that was years later. But then, I mean, there's even situations he'll say something and then he'll be like, oh, we met up, we had lunch, whatever. So it's just like, again, we got to be mindful of what the person's saying, take it with a grain of salt, and let's just like, you know.
And I just want to say, like, yeah,
Pray for Kanye. I think that should be a hashtag that needs to go around, because it at this point, like, all the people out there that are his peers that support him or whatever, we need to support him by just praying for him. That don't necessarily mean we need to like go reach out to him or whatever, because we know the space that he's in. All you got to do is pray for him in your own space.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. And another thing, you don't have to. I think that people get caught up in a thing where they think that they have to fully align with the ideas and values of a person on every subject. Yeah, you don't have to. That's unrealistic. So what'll happen is, if somebody has one opinion that you don't like, they could have 10 that you do agree with. Then you don't agree with one and you write them off. I'm not like that. Right. I could be like, yo, this dude right here, I think he's a clown on 10 things. Right. That 11th thing that he talked about, I'm in full agreement with. Sometimes people won't want to be in agreement with nothing because they don't like the other thing.
Yeah. Right.
You know, you got to be able to not feel like you got to be completely on the team of a person.
I was just telling somebody the same thing, because it was a whole nother discussion, and I was like, I see certain things, but then there's the things that I don't agree with. You know what I mean? So I understand that.
And that's the people in life too. Let this be a lesson in life that I feel like you guys should watch. If you've got a friend, a family member, and you agree with 10 things that they do, and the first time you don't agree with something, they just want to write you off, or it's war now. Right. That's a problem. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And listen, with what I started out with in this, I was trying to say something by that when I meant like the celebrities and the people more successful, and we talk about them and we worry about their issues and their problems. And what I was saying, and I want to end it off with this, is let's stop sleeping on the people, because the people, right? And I'm not even talking about like George Floyd's people in this certain scenario, right? I'm talking about people like that too for that case, right? Be mindful of them when you're talking about their scenarios and their life and their family. But when we talking about stuff in general, worldly things that consist of us all, right? I want to just say to, like, I'm talking to myself too. People that got platforms like this where we talk and we get respect from people. People start following us. We gain a following where now, like, our platform is on a higher level where more people are listening to what we saying. Respect the people, man. Yeah. It's power in people. Why? Because you know what I notice? When people loving a show, right? Everything is all great and gravy, right? When they're loving the show and all the comments are healthy. But when you do foul shit, them people come in them comments.
Yeah, they want to write you
off. Them people be in them comments, and people ain't gonna bite their tongue. People ain't with the rich Hollywood shit, the famous shit. We gotta shh because of this. People ain't with none of that. Yeah. And the power that's in people is probably one of the most powerful things out here. It's just we struggle as a people sometimes to stay united and recognize what that power can actually do. But when them comments and all that shit, and they be ready like ban something and shun something and shut shit down, then we start seeing apologies and things of that nature, you know? So I'm just saying this, and again, I'm speaking to me first, because I ain't perfect. I've probably been on here and said some shit that who knows? God forbid, like Dev said, years later, if a motherfucker on a different plateau and they want to try to tear you down, they'll be resurfacing some shit. Yep. Just respect the people, man. Respect the janitors. Like you respect the CEO.
That's an important rule to life, period. And then, you know, there's another fold to it, because there's a lawsuit that's supposed to be for $250 million. And that goes back to, remember when we was talking about like the Jeffrey Dahmer stuff or whatever? Right. We talk about like defamation. Like when a person like, okay, I lost a loved one and I'm telling you that this situation, we all saw on camera how this person was killed. Okay, someone was in a chokehold and they got choked to death or whatever. Right. Now you're saying, nah, it wasn't that, it was heroin. No, it wasn't that, it was he was on cocaine. Whatever it was, right? It could have even been a situation, this is completely separate. I'm just making up a new scenario. Somebody was on cocaine. Then a person went and choked them to death. They died from the choke. Yeah. Right. Not because they was on coke. They would have never died unless they got choked or whatever like that. Correct. So now the family is, in this case, is suing. Right. So there's people that are upset because they said, well, why didn't they sue Derek Chauvin? You know what I'm saying? Which is the police officer. Like, do they have the same energy or whatever the case may be for him?
And there's people in their feelings because Kanye was the same one when that first happened to George Floyd. He donated $2 million to their family, if I'm not mistaken, I've read the article like yesterday where people posted it. Like, look, it was they was talking about several things that Kanye West has done as far as good things for his people, his community, and just things of generosity, right? And to my knowledge, it's people like kind of like not digging the lawsuit because they do feel like kind of like what I said, where I feel like he's kind of like off his rocker. And when he was like a little bit better mentally and all that, and in a regular frame of mind, he was cutting checks to these same people.
So this is important too. Let us know in the comments, y'all. Y'all are the ones that's able to do this research right there on the spot. I never knew about anything of a $2 million anything, but let's say that was true. Right?
Help us out.
So let's say that was true. We're gonna use that.
Maybe he's salty because the money wasn't used correctly.
If
That's what the thing with Candace Owens is about, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, now you're talking about like if it was done like that with BLM, if he gave them $2 million for their family just because maybe like a provider or somebody was removed, that's whatever, you know what I mean? That's different. Now, let's say I did give you $2 million, Porta.
Right.
But then I say some crazy shit about your father that passed away, bro. Is that $2 million supposed to buy your silence now? No, I could still violate you later. So just because a person did something good for you at one point doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't give them free reign to be like, I could do whatever I want now because remember back when I gave you such and such? Nah, I still want you. You know what? Nah, now you violated me. And now I want to do this. And when you talk about Derek Chauvin, I didn't know whether Derek Chauvin had a lawsuit against him. But the other part is, what can you get out of Derek Chauvin?
Yeah,
you can't sue. That like you
Kanye
can't
has
sue
the
him.
platform.
What are they suing Kanye for?
But he,
So because of that's like defamation.
Defamation of character.
It's like if my dad was killed by police officers in an unjust way in front of the whole country, and now you're trying to convince the country that he actually was just a drug addict that died from a drug overdose. That's like huge. That's defamation. We can't do that with each other. I couldn't come on this show and be like, Monica did such and slept with this dude and burnt him. No, you can't do that. You could sue a nigga for that. You feel what I'm saying?
For sure.
Right.
Isn't that that's like all of social media? It's just a bunch of rumors and with no.
So, but what happens is this. Let's say a random guy on social media said that about you, but he just live in a row home in Philly. You could sue him, but there's nothing to sue for. If 50 Cent posted you and said all of this crazy shit about you, you know, like, oh, we could hurt his pockets.
Money.
You know what I mean? So now, okay, everybody thinks I'm a whore, a prostitute, I have a disease. But at least I got my 20 M's. Okay. And that goes for every kind of injury or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So, it's crazy, y'all. Let us know how y'all feel about it in the comments, everything like that, man. But we're gonna get into something else, man. The George Floyd situation was a super traumatic situation for everybody involved. There was a lot of people who, obviously there were people that filmed it. There was people that was around back then.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's just a famous situation. A lot of us in our personal lives have dealt with so many different kinds of traumas. And then in our upbringing, we weren't really, they never used those words. So we never considered it trauma. It was just what it was, whether it was how much you got beat as a kid or your dad not coming to pick you up or you was free lunching and, stealing to eat and whatever it was, those are all traumas. What I want to talk about in our dating segment right now is, when is the appropriate time to introduce your past traumas to a person you're dating? So what I mean by that, to be clear, is we've talked about like when you have a sit down with somebody on your first date, you let them know from the beginning that you want to get married one day or that you want this and all these things. But when do you share with somebody, for example, a situation like I was molested when I was 16?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a conversation you got to have with someone that you got to make sure that it's a safe space to have that conversation. So I don't think it should be from the jump. I don't really think there's a specific time, but I think to some capacity, you got to feel comfortable and safe with that person. So that's going to take, again, I don't know if it's a specific time, like 6 months or 8 months or anything like that. I just feel like you kind of got to get to know a person and really like, you know, see if this is something you're going to move forward with, you know, in that relationship, like you're going to be boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever the case may be, because you don't want to go around spreading your traumas to anybody because people can use that against you. And I think that's
what do you think is some like examples of how maybe it could be used against you?
Because you ever see men that prey on women that are like that been through trauma. So for example, there could be men out there that prey on a woman that got raped when she was young. So he knows how traumatic that is to her, right? And he knows like how she wants that, like, or she feels a way about like when she's intimate with somebody or when she's intimate with him, and he can use that to his advantage. Or, you know, he knows that she might be a little weak-minded and like, you know, she'll listen to anything that he says or whatever, just based off of like, you know, the trauma she had with the person who raped her and was traumatizing her or trying to get in her head or whatever. Certain men, and women do this too with men, maybe not as much, but they'll use that tactic and be like, oh, okay, I know that's her weak point, and this is what I'm going to do to keep her around or whatever the case may be. It might sound a little crazy, but it does happen that way sometimes.
With this question, are we talking about a person that's healed from their trauma or just has experienced a trauma in their life?
You know what? Honestly,
that's a good question.
I think no. So you could give me the answer on either one, because this is a real thing I want to know, because Wally just said when you feel comfortable and all that kind of stuff. But let's say that was a year. As weird as this is, right? There's people out there that once they hear whatever your trauma was, they won't want to fuck with you no more. There's actually men out there that might feel like because you got raped, you're what they call quote unquote damaged goods. So he'll be like, man, a lot comes with that. Now I want to back away. And so in certain cases, a person might feel like, well, damn, you ain't tell me this. Now we've been kind of dating for a little over a year. You told me that. Now they want to step off, but they feel like you wasted their time or something. And we're just creating scenarios.
Right.
I'm not a person
That's
that
just weird.
feels like that. But it could, no, because imagine this. Let me reverse it. I had a coworker that was a man. And he was a super negative person, super negative, you know what I mean? But I always could tell he was like a good dude. Everything he just had a negative mindset. We was all carpooling to work, and we talking one day, and it was just us. And we talked about something else, and then he told me the reason why a lot of his outlooks on life was a certain way was that he was molested by his father since he was a little kid.
Right.
And the molestation didn't stop until he was 17 years old.
Right.
So as we got closer as people, he kind of explained like the mental control, even though he got to a physical point where he could fight his dad. It's been happening to him since he was like 5-6 years old. Some women would hear that their man went through something like that and can't see them as the same man no more, or don't trust them with their own kids no more. Somebody talked about that in a Michael Jackson documentary before. One of the people, regardless of, you know, what you would think about that, when he told his wife, this happened between me and Mike, his wife was like, I don't want you around our kids right now. Because do you have them type thoughts? So what I'm saying is, things that you went through or saw when you was a kid, or trauma you went through, or, you know, my dad was beating my mom when I was little. I shot him. I killed my dad.
Because a lot of these traumas do trickle down, like statistically. So I wouldn't blame somebody for not wanting to put up with it. Like I feel like it's to your prerogative. Like it does come with a lot. You're affected. So in their journey, it just depends on how healed they are, or if they're still dealing with it. I feel like I could deal with somebody that has been healed from it, but if they're still like dealing with stuff, that's just demons that we're both gonna have to fight. But
it doesn't necessarily have to be demons, right, Monica? It could be something, because she has a point, like it's that person's prerogative. Like if they wanna leave, that's on them, you know. But then there are people, and for the most part, there are people out there that do try to help and support people through that journey. But that's a choice you gotta make, right? And I feel like every person in either situation, granted, you can feel away, but you can't be mad at the person if they don't want to take on that. Like, because that could, especially if you're not healed, like if you ain't healed, that might come with a whole nother load of things. And that's just something totally different based off of the basic shit you going through day to day.
Right. Finger pointer Porter.
I know. He's like, can I just jump in real quick?
I be want to talk a little bit. Don't worry about it, y'all. I ain't gonna talk too much, but I want to talk. But now I think Wally and Dev made an excellent point by giving us the examples of how.
Fuck me, all right.
Now, we love you, but of how.
Put a finger in her mouth, Porter.
Yeah, two of them. Of how a man and a woman, this, can experience this, and it can happen to both parties, so I felt that for one. Back to the original question, when is the right time if you've been through something like this? I agree with Wally. Pretty much her answer is pretty much my answer. That just like, I feel like with something like that, like for real, you definitely, it's not a time. I feel like it's a feeling. I feel like it's a feeling when you know that you're with your best friend. You're with, out of everybody you met in the world thus far, this is the best person for you. Know what I'm saying? Like something along those lines where like, it gotta be a feeling, right? Because this is some dark stuff, some stuff that people could use against you, like the examples that y'all gave. So a lot of people will be frightened and scared and not know the correct time, right?
Yeah, and I tell my Uber driver everything.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that, Angela. But look,
no, I swear,
you do?
Every traumatic thing gets let go to a stranger.
She's one of those.
She's a chatty patty.
Like, great.
She's a chatty patty.
I can tell you all my problems. This is way cheaper than therapy.
That's crazy.
She's a chatty patty, and we're working on that. She already admitted to that. But what I want to say is this, and this is serious, and this is major to me. Right? And then y'all could chime in on this after I drop this. If you not ready, right? To get, no, because for real, I've experienced shit like this.
If you're not ready,
hold on, slow down. Let me do
Jesus.
me. You jumping
Snap
in too
his
soon.
fucking finger, Wally.
No.
You hush.
Take
You
it.
hush. Let him do him.
Go ahead. Y'all,
Go ahead,
all right, y'all
go ahead,
done?
go ahead.
Can I talk? All right.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm saying is, what we not gonna do is this, right? If we together, right? We meeting, we dating, right? It's been pretty serious, right? We rocking and rolling. You fucking with me, I'm fucking with you heavy. You got some traumatic shit, right? That you juggling with in your head. I don't know if you don't know if I'm the one that you should talk to about it. I just feel like don't say nothing at all about it then. Because some people will do this, and I feel as though it's not fair to your partner. Some people will do like halfway tell it. Like, nah, I've been through some shit. Nah, you don't know what I went through.
They're using it to their advantage.
Or you don't know what they're using it to do.
This is real.
They're using it to do bullshit. They're using it to justify their behavior.
Oh, talk about it, boy. Talk about it.
Now y'all feeling me. Slow down. Slow down. Listen. But what I'm saying is, and I'm not trying to be funny to nobody that's actually been through some shit. Yeah. What I'm telling you is that your partner that's trying to, like, because let's say you got a partner that's showing you, like, yo, I'm here, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, I ain't going nowhere. I love you to that point. I'm here for the worst. The best and the worst. I'm here for it. And you'll like talk about some stuff, right? Like, nah, I've been through some stuff you don't understand in these heated conversations, like part of it'll come out, right? And that'll leave a motherfucker thinking like, all right, well, what's up? Because now it's like, I want to try to help. If they love you, right? If I love you, I want to try to help get some closure for you to a better place with this, right? And when you don't come full forward, and after a long period of time, it's just still, and again, you doing shit kind of like behind it, and you'll bring that shit up, like, oh, you don't understand, you ain't never. Now you're using it as like a negative thing.
Nah, no. Listen, 100%. I think that was a phenomenal point, because once you're doing that, now you're using it as almost like a scapegoat for sometimes
your
the
actions.
activities, but you're not opening up the door for the other person to be able to aid you because you're just giving them a hint of, you don't know what I come from. People need to understand that. And all traumas don't have to be necessarily witnessing a murder. It could be losing a home in a fire. It could be losing your house, period, and having to be homeless and this and that. So maybe y'all bumping heads on financial things because you feel like this person's hoarding money.
Yeah.
But they're explaining to you like, I was homeless. I will never be there again. I need a certain cushion. I'm not spending that on this. And if a person understood your whole story of like, what? You was living where, how, and the other things that came from that, it makes you be able to respect like, nah, he need a certain amount in that bank account. She need a certain amount before we can go and do that because they don't like to live up against that wall because of what they
and
what
rightfully so, and that's
Yeah.
okay, right? We got to understand that like nobody's perfect in this world, neither. So if we're going to deal with somebody and we going to take on, you know, their traumas and we understand the why, we can't at the end of the day, like 4 years later into the relationship, you complaining about that trauma. Like that's not healthy in any relationship. So like, you got to understand what you're taking on too. I feel like a lot of people get into that, like, you know, what do they say? That honeymoon phase. And like, oh yeah, no, don't worry about that. That's okay. Like, you know, whatever. But you're not really sitting down and really taking heed to what this person is saying to have a better understanding, because this can come with so much more than it. Yes, it sounds like, yes, that person been through a lot or whatever, but like, you don't know when it's going to show up in their life during that journey in that relationship with that person.
So check this out. Like I do work for a different podcast that y'all don't know about, right? And it's more like in the if you want to call that like the private sector, right? And on this podcast, it talks about a lot of prison reform and stuff like that. And it'll interview people. And a lot of times people, it'll even talk about like work after prison, life after prison, all of this stuff. And a lot of the women that'll go in there when they ask stuff like, would you date a dude that's been to prison? They'll often say it depends on what he did to go into prison. So that would be like what we talked about with the father. I killed the father. Maybe it was, I ran the streets as a youngin'. When I was 14 years old, I was out here wilding. I took somebody's life. Now I'm sharing this trauma with you. I ended up in prison. They let me out when I was an adult. Whatever the case may be, that's not me no more. I was a lost child. Boom, boom. There's some women that's like, I can't be with a person that murdered somebody. Right. So what happens is you find that out about the person after y'all been together 3 years.
That's crazy.
So they want to tell you that time that I was crying about this, that time I was watching that movie and I started crying, it was about this. When you dealing with your woman and something happens in a movie and she tells you years later, the reason why I cried that night we watched so-and-so is because that happened to me. That's hard for a person to take on 7 years in to a situation, because now you think about everything that happened before that point. Like, hold on, is that why she feels this way about this? Is that why she reacted this way about this? So my answer, because there's no perfect answer, and I want the answer from y'all in the chat. My answer is as soon as you possibly can. So I'm not saying that that's on the first date. I'm not saying it's on the 12th date. I'm saying that the sooner the better, so that person could deal with, because so many arguments could have happened over the 2 years before you finally told the person, yo, this happened to me, that could have been avoided. Right. Because
that's
they
what
didn't.
I do.
And
I tell them right off the bat, I'm fucking crazy. So you have a chance now. You can run or stay, but I'm telling you straight up, I'm fucking crazy, like super crazy. And if they're always like, okay, I'm like, no, like I'm fucking batshit.
They got googly eyes. They don't see.
No. So that's not.
And give them a chance.
Tell them
that's not enough. That's not enough.
Honesty.
Hold on. Are you giving? Hold on. But that's a difference. Are you telling them that you're crazy based off of traumas that happened to you in life? Or you're just saying you crazy because if dudes like the way a woman looks and she says, I'm crazy, but they're not giving a reason, a man will just be
No,
like,
I'm
I could
crazy
deal with all
from
that crazy.
trauma and mental illness.
So do you tell them the things? So this is what
Yes,
I'm
I
saying.
do.
Oh, so you tell them, okay.
Yeah, I put it all on the table. Like, this is who I am. Take it or leave it.
Angelina.
I'm fucking nuts.
Now,
It is what it is. I went through a lot of trauma. Sorry.
Angelina, now let's say you start dating this, because I just want to know real quick while we're here.
Yeah.
Let's say you start dating this guy, right? And he busts your ass. Let's say you have sex with him, right? He gives you ultimate sex, great sex. Does this boost the craziness or like pipe it down some? I'm just asking for a friend.
It depends how much trust there is.
Mm.
Yeah.
If this trust is there, your crazy will remain the same.
I see the crazy wheel spinning. Got to do the slow zoom. So hold on, real quick, just so we can find out more about our nasty girls. What kind of crazy are you doing? Are you like burning cars and shit like that? Like,
I think she's saying that she's not
I'm
liable.
diagnosed, but I'm not going to share that with you guys.
Right.
I mean, you just shared it.
Are you saying that you're not liable for your actions, like in the future?
No, I'm totally liable. I'm just
shit.
giving him a chance to run beforehand. Putting it all on the table, like, I'm not from a normal family.
Yeah.
I was not raised correctly.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do things correctly. I don't even know how
Okay,
to
so-
adult. So,
right.
So, but are you
Yeah.
talking about burning cars, slashing tires, busting windows, setting people up, making them go to jail?
I'm not gonna hold you
I'm
from the
not
fact.
gonna put anyone in jail. That's like against the rules. But like,
What are the
I will
rules?
take
Y'all
the air
forget
out of your
she's a-
tires.
hold on, real
I
quick.
will
Hold
slash
on.
your tire. I will take the air out of your tire and make it hard to go to work in the morning.
Okay,
I'm
that's
that
not
kind
bad.
of girl.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not like you
I-
be.
I'll
air
make
in
your
it.
life difficult, but I'm not actually gonna like steal
Harm you.
anything or break anything.
You're not gonna
but
put
I'm
arsenic
gonna
in there.
Threaten it.
And you definitely don't. I like that you don't play with police. Is that from like your Sicilian, like mafia side?
Yeah.
Got it.
Never
it.
called the police.
No, no, it
Mafia
is.
is Sicilian though.
Not all, but we know she really
Yeah,
like
but
chill.
that-
I know what's up.
Yeah, no
chill.
police, never. They never help. They just make things worse.
Oh man,
Nah.
Hold on, Porter had some feelings about police and some things that happened last week with Lil Baby and
I just no.
DJ Academics.
No, I read something crazy, right? I read something crazy, like, and people. I just feel like, come on, man. People like need to chill the fuck out, like, right? And I know how Dev's gonna feel about this, right? Dev might see this differently, right? But I just feel like, all right, something I just read about, and I don't even know too much of it, right? So school me later. But something I just read about Lil Baby. Everybody know the prosecutor in Atlanta. Since the young gunner, free gunner, free
Young Gunner.
free gunner and free thugger, right? Real quick before I talk about that.
Because they locked up.
Hold on.
Because I'm gonna say why.
Let's go.
I'm gonna say because at this point, I don't know if any of the shit that's being said is true. I don't know if these motherfuckers is really responsible for all this black on black crime that they're painting it like how they painting it, right? And saying the music is the fucking like the soundtrack to it, right?
Okay.
It's telling them every step. I don't know yet.
Okay, so with that being said, right, just in all fairness, right, with this debate world,
Okay.
right, freedom. If what Monica asked was based on
You know,
what?
hold on. Before you even go, you know, technically they supposed to be free because it's supposed to be innocent to proven guilty, technically.
right.
But go ahead.
I mean,
Hold on. Till they change the laws.
Kind of no.
How kind of know?
Because they are considered innocent. They
because
haven't been
they're considered innocent. What happens is,
charged.
we all understand how
Sentenced.
the bail system works, so that we don't have to explain that they aren't guilty of any crime until they're convicted. That
Right.
doesn't mean that you're able to run free in
Yeah.
the world. Or if we did go by that in real scenarios, it'd be a lot of people dead because I'm gonna just get my shit off before they come get me. You feel what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
like they
I mean,
are.
but
I
that's-
think
but
they
that's-
are free to go. They're just their bond is really high,
Listen,
right? Or they on a
no, I don't think
Listen,
they could go.
don't get me wrong. I get what Dev is
They're
saying.
not giving them. Go ahead.
I get what Dev is saying, but all I'm stating is that it's a color thing. It's definitely a color thing, and I'm not saying that these guys. Again, I don't know if these guys are right or wrong in whatever they're being charged with these alleged charges. But I do know that yes, it's supposed to be innocent till proven guilty, and I believe that if it was a person of white color, right, and I know they don't do shit like whatever the shit we be getting trapped into in the trap. But if it was a white person with this shit, they'd be out.
So you think so RICO
I don't
laws
think so.
so RICO laws was invented for Italian people. All them people was white. The whole law was created around white people. There are so many white people locked up on that law that I can't agree with that. It's literally made for the mafia. And then they applied
But do we know if they got a fair opportunity when they was charged? Was they out on bails? Things was different then. I'm quite sure some of them families got out.
So
what I'm saying is this. I'm not, once again, I'm a fan of rap. I'm not a fan of crime. Right? So I don't even know nothing about the crime. I'm just saying when we say free somebody, right? It's just a question that I'm bringing up that Monica said. If somebody allegedly raped your niece and then people was like, free him. You like, why free him? Because I don't know if he did it or not. But it's like, but what? So why free them then? The answer,
I mean, me personally,
why would it be any answer?
Me personally, I'm gonna be honest with you. Me personally, right? If my niece got raped, right? And I love my niece to death. Shout to my niece Jules, and shout to my new baby niece. But God forbid something like that happened, right? And they just found some random person. Me and my family don't have a clue because of the way it went down. We don't have a clue of who did it. And they just found some random person and said, somebody said this is the guy, or somebody said they seen a guy that looks like this guy. Me personally, if I like, it's hard. I'm the type, bro. I'm a fair person, bro.
Right.
Because I always put myself in those shoes.
I just don't want to go too far from the reality. We have seen what happened with people like Anthony Wright and things like that. We've seen that happen. But most of the time when somebody gets grabbed in for something, they're trying to connect it off of something. So to jump to a random person, it's like, no, let's not use that. Let's say they said, this was the person that matched the description of what your niece, he couldn't see their face, but she said, yeah, them niggas had on the motherfucking Camden Monarch shirt and the fucking backwards joint and they had some purple sneakers on. And it's like, that still might not be bull, but this bull was the bull we grabbed in there. You saying free him? So also all I'm saying is in the thing of what Monica said, when she said free him, why?
Right.
It's a good, because we could say nothing. We could say, hopefully, God bless that whole situation. Hopefully the innocent stay innocent. Yeah. Hopefully the innocent stay innocent. And the person that is the committer of the crime gets to serve out whatever they serve out.
And that's the real truth though. Yeah. And that's really like, I know I said freedom, because it is like some culture shit, right? When we say free the guys and shit like that. But I definitely respect what Dev is saying, right? And I agree with it, right? Because I don't stand on no negative shit. I think that's the worst shit that ever happened in the hood. When we started finding ways to paint pictures where we can kill each other and it's okay. Even if we doing this shit over money, it's sad. It's still genocide. Over money, it's still genocide. Over blocks, over strips, over music, because now I believe we getting music and it's the same shit. It's money and music and we start doing the same toxic shit. So yes, I don't stand on that, but just real quick to the original thing.
Hold on. Because I want to just say this real quick too before we move into what we talking about. In my feelings on the situation is like, yeah, I hope that Thugger and Gunna and all them brothers is innocent of those things because they innocent of those things.
Right.
I would hate for our entertainers to be involved in part of the genocide of our people. I'm so
glad you said that because I was just going to say that. Like, well, if you want me to stay neutral and not say free them, then all the motherfuckers that want them to get life need to stay the fuck neutral and shut the fuck up till they figure this shit out. Like, I was just going to say that. Like, it's a fair game. Everybody be quiet and let the professionals do what the fuck they got to do till we figure this shit out. But at the end of the day, academics, you ain't no professional. You ain't no professional. And I just read some shit like, first of all, we seen the clip the other day, right? I don't know. I'm not going to say academics beats on women. I don't know what was going on.
I saw academics look like two girls was trying to fight.
Oh, at the hotel, right?
It looked like two girls trying to fight, and he was trying to break up a fight. Looked like one bigger Joan was going to smash another one.
Listen,
and that's what it looked like.
I don't even know what I was seeing. All I know what I heard, and I kept hearing him ask the one girl, "Do you know who I am?" And it was obvious that she didn't. If you keep having to ask, like, so fuck all that. Like, my thing is, like, I seen the clip talking about, because the prosecutor in Atlanta, she's on a rampage. She's doing her job, right? As a prosecutor, as officers trying to provide a good environment. She's trying to indict people. Anybody who's in crime, da 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 da. And I just seen a clip on like academics talking about Lil Baby. Like, yeah, if Lil Baby, and I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true, whatever, all this shit. But if Lil Baby gets indicted, I'm going to take the stand. I'm going to testify. Like,
to take the stand based on what? What could he take the stand based on?
I don't know. Only reason I'm even mentioning it, bro, is because I just want to really like put the energy out there. Like, yo, pipe the fuck down. Some of you niggas, like, it's true. It's true what Fat Joe just said it. You know, shout out to the Don. He just said it on his live, like talking about like these platforms that we have, right? And different people who go on YouTube and you gain a following, whatever, things of that nature. A lot of that shit ain't healthy. A lot of people ain't gaining followings from like healthy shit.
Hold on, real quick. I love Fat Joe to death too. And a lot of things that we have here, shout out to Don Michael Jr., wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Fat Joe. Fat Joe gave him his first shot at Terror Squad and everything like that. Shout out to Pacheco and all that. But Fat Joe also said he don't mind people robbing people. He just mind them shooting them. So we all...
He said he understood it.
He said
he understood it because he came from it.
Regardless.
I mean,
He understood what?
He understood that some people rob people.
Right.
He understands that some people rob. That's a job
He
that some people
understands why
take.
people rob people?
No, he ain't say
hold on.
why.
He said he understands when people rob people. He understands it. He said, but don't kill them. Do what you do, rob and do whatever. I would rather that than you kill them.
So when Porter come to rob me and I tell you, suck my dick, nigga, or I start punching on you, what you gonna do?
But the
No.
But the
It's
thing
like
is,
saying,
no. But this is the thing. Listen.
long as you
listen
give
here.
me the
Hold
money,
on.
I'm still-
Time out. Because we're not gonna sit here and take away what he said. That people gonna rob, steal, kill, destroy. That's what this life has been based on. It's gonna happen. But he's saying if it's gonna happen, don't kill people.
But what I'm saying is, if you
You
come,
can say the same thing and say, I'm just a murderer, just kill people, but don't rape them.
So-
No. But we're not saying kill though.
But
We're
that
not
wasn't-
saying
but that
kill.
wasn't-
We're
but I
not
agree.
saying
I
kill
agree.
though.
No,
What
but-
he's saying is
What he
that
said was wrong.
but he's not. But the thing is, would you rather them kill them?
hold on, let me.
Because if we had a pick,
how do you have a choice? How do you have a choice whether you rob me? Wally? Porter come to me with a gun and he's going to rob me and I say, nigga, you not getting nothing. He can't get it off me unless he shoot me.
Well, no, that's not necessarily true. You don't always have to shoot sometimes. People normally, when they rob, they come, they could tussle with them and take what they take.
But what I'm saying is, no.
The reason why he's saying, because the reason why he's saying what he's saying now, because what we're noticing is that people are just killing people for what they're belonging.
But what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is this. When you go to a robbery, right? A lot of niggas will tell you, yo, don't make me hurt you, my nigga. Give me that chain.
You're scared for your life.
Hold on. Porter, you've been in the streets your whole life.
Absolutely.
How many niggas go up to a nigga and say, we can make this easy, bro. Don't make me hurt you. I need you to give me that chain.
Yeah, it's real.
Now, when I don't give you the chain, where we stuck at? Because if we start squabbling, I'm real good at this. That gun you got gonna end up being mine if you just like, okay, I'm not gonna shoot him. I just came to rob. What am I gonna do? A lot of these things turn into murders. Hold on, there's been a lot of robberies that turned into murders because the person was like, I'm not giving it to you. And a lot of times, what's the one thing that this is crazy. You'll hear people say this rule all the time. Hey, tell me I'm wrong, Porter. Tell me I'm wrong, Wally. Tell me I'm wrong, anybody in the comments. How many times people said the golden rule is don't pull a gun out unless you plan on using it? Yes or no?
That's real.
So how can you pull it out in a robbery?
No, but that's different. That's different. In a robbery, it's different. Robber niggas, that's their task. That's their job. We robbers. We steal. We rob niggas. We really, the last resort for a robbing nigga, for the last resort that a robbing nigga want is to kill you. So in that situation, which is really like kind of like a rare situation, because in the streets, for real, the code was always, you can make that money back. Give it up. If niggas catch you slipping and catch you like that, you a fool to play tough to a bullet. You ain't bulletproof, nigga.
People do it.
People do it, but it's rare. People give that shit up. People give that shit up to live because you can make the money back. Robbery was a thing where, like, if you get caught, and I'm not saying it was healthy. I'm not saying that
either. So
I'm not saying that Fat Joe shouldn't have said that, right? Because I may felt like, okay, Fat Joe, you could have probably left that out. It would have been healthy for you. We wouldn't have caught this little flack. But I do understand what Wally is trying to say. And I do kind of like agree that what he was saying is like, yo, I come from the Bronx. I come from a ghetto environment. That's like me. If I sit here and tell y'all the shit I used to do, sit outside of a check cashing place, wait for the old lady to come the fuck out and sling her in the fucking snow till she get to the fucking bag come off her arm, y'all niggas will look at me different. But at the end of the day, I really did it. I really been through it. I really used to be a different nigga. So I'm telling you that yes, people do that. I'm not that nigga no more.
Exactly.
But I still want to warn people that it's people who live that life, bro. And you shouldn't be like naive to it. So you shouldn't be sleeping on it.
So that goes into what we said last week with the PNB Rock shit.
No, it's ugly. It's ugly, but it makes sense to a certain extent.
So what I'm saying, so this is what I'm saying. That's like a nigga saying, yo, bro, slap bitches' asses in the club. Don't rape them, no, my nigga. It's one thing to walk by, see the asses smacking and say, what's up, my... Wait, no.
It's similar, but it's different. You're talking about rape.
No, I'm talking
about rape. That's different from robbing niggas,
But what I'm talking about
is... You can't compare them two.
All right, so let's just say... All right, let's just call harming people. Let's just see harming.
Yeah.
It's cool to play the knockout game, just don't pay to cut a person face game. What the root of the issue is, you gotta say, yo, the root that leads to nobody getting hurt is... Yo, you can't introduce or pull out pistols on your people, because once you introduce the pistol, that's where all the variations of what could happen. Without that introduction, nothing else happens.
Listen, I agree.
You can't control whether or not this person wants to give up their belongings and things of that nature.
So was PNB Rock naive to not have security?
Hold on, Monica. No. Let Monica, because it's a great thing, right? When we was talking about the PNB Rock thing, right? I was talking about how like all this shit is wrong. We should be able to walk around in the hood without being robbed by our own people. So I get what the fuck Dev is saying and where he's going. But at the same time, when we talked about the PNB Rock shit, I gave the game a shout out. Because the game put out a song years ago that was talking about the harsh realities of ghetto communities. Like in LA, yes, we want it to be peaceful. Yes, we don't want our own people to be fucking pointing at our own people and plotting on our own people. But at the end of the day, you still got motherfuckers that do it. They don't give a fuck about what the majority want. They live in the...
This is a fact.
They on their own rules, on their own terms. They look at you like, fuck you, nigga. You ain't doing nothing for me. Fuck your positive rules. I'm doing me, nigga. And Fat Joe was talking about them type niggas.
Yes.
Watch yourself. And yeah, why y'all gotta kill niggas? If you gonna take it, just if you caught a nigga slipping, take the shit, but don't kill a nigga.
So you know how
I felt that.
So you know how we got on this subject, right? You see that this is all for the subject we was talking about. The reason why is because I interjected and I said this. Fat Joe said that certain people shouldn't be talking on certain subjects because everybody's got a voice based on the fact that they was able to rap or do whatever, and now they got a joint. And then what I decided to do was point out the fact that that doesn't give him a voice to talk about certain stuff. You're just a good rapper.
Nah, but it do though. But it do though. Because before you was a rapper, I was a robber. So how you don't? Now that it's actually the perfect time for me because I blew up as an artist. I showed y'all a different skill behind these melodies, and it worked. I got hits under my belts for years. So now I'm gonna use my platform to also tell you about the shit I knew about before I was a rapper.
Exactly. So now, so that part's nothing wrong with it. This is where we disconnect. I'm following this completely. So at that point, it's saying, nah, nigga, don't be out there robbing. Get in the studio and work on the albums. Not. I go out there, I see the robbing part, because what I'm explaining to you is you cannot control the reaction of the person you're robbing, and that's what leads to the murder. Will we agree on that part?
No,
will
for
we
sure.
agree? So all I'm saying is we can't.
He did say put the guns down.
But what I'm saying is,
say that.
What I'm saying is, in general, when you introduce any kind of drama to a person, you cannot control how a person reacts.
No, for sure.
So I can't complain if I go out in the street right now and smack somebody's mom, I can't control what happened after that. That shit could turn into warfare, right?
Right.
All right. Because I introduced that. So the root of the thing should be I shouldn't go out there and do that.
Right.
So all I'm saying is that when it comes to platforms, it's easy for people to say, who should be able to talk on this or who shouldn't be able to talk on that, when really, like, it's not like any of us got doctorates on that. Kanye West, we just said, he's a great designer, great fashion person, but that doesn't mean he could talk about how things should go politically.
Right.
Fat Joe is a great rapper and all that, and yes, he escaped the robbery shit by luck. A lot of them other people that went along with him, whoever else it would have been, a Charlie Rock LD, however their lives,
Right.
you know, their lives went in a lot of different, because I follow all of them dudes because I'm a fan of that.
Right.
Even down to the background people like Charlie Rock LD, and I don't agree with shit Charlie Rock LD has to say about Fat Joe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that go back to academics and him speaking on what he said
The
in
little
the joint.
baby shit. I just feel like, listen, some of these guys, sometimes, I guess, yeah, they making some sense, but for real, it's more negative than positive that I see. And that's why I'm just saying, like, I agree. We don't do that here, bro. We ain't start a platform to tear people down. Me and you actually talk about that before we even bring guests on.
Hell yeah.
Like, yo, we not doing that, bro. We not
You're
bringing
not sitting
people
here
here.
saying like, oh, you know, we had somebody come on this show and we know they're fighting a situation. We're gonna be like, oh yeah, well if the cops come to me, I'm gonna tell on him too.
I just
that,
feel like-
that sounds a little.
Hold on. So this is where I need to understand, because I didn't follow this whole story. How he said he would take the stand. How the fuck would him as a random person take the stand, or was he involved in some kind of
That's why
He's
kind of
telling
like
on himself.
That's why kind of
Huh?
like
He's kind of telling on himself.
No,
If that's
not
the
telling.
case-
No, I'm saying like if DJ Academic saying he was.
I don't
gonna
know
take the
why
stand.
he said it. I was confused, like you confused.
Yeah.
I don't know how you got any
But so-
ties to Little Baby. Like, did you interview him before?
So-
Did he leak anything in the interview for you to even like
So hold
say
on.
goofy shit?
So once again, we don't know everything. In the comments, let us know what is the relation to
Between-
Little Baby and academics, because I cannot even understand how he would say, if this happens, I'm gonna take the stand, unless something was done to academics. Now, if I don't, so you're saying nothing was done to academics?
I don't know. I just seen that
because
one
the
clip.
only way you could take the stand
on somebody.
against somebody
You gotta
is
have-
if academics witnessed a crime, was a part of a crime, was threatened that a crime was going to happen to him, something
He
like
has to have
that.
information.
I don't know.
He'll be a fool to say like, oh, I'm gonna go to,
Randomly,
like,
yeah, like, so-
Would it be
like,
for?
so-
I mean,
so-
would it be for ratings?
So let's make up a different world, right? From this point on, fantasy, I don't know, like I said, y'all can tell us in the comments. Let's say we know he not into the street shit, so he wasn't doing a crime with him. Let's say he
Why ain't go to 6ix9ine trial?
hold on. So let's say he let's say I mean, maybe he wasn't in that. He wasn't in a part of that.
That's
so
his boy.
So what I'm
That's his
saying,
boy.
so what I'm saying is, if he did get beat up, not saying this happened,
Right.
he got threatened to get killed or whatever like that. Do you believe that he would be in the wrong to speak up and say that this entity or gang did this to me, him as a civilian?
Me personally, yes, because I feel as though he's already done enough shit where niggas is definitely going to start sending death threats.
You don't
So,
want him to rap. That's
I
what
feel
you're
as,
saying.
no. I just feel as though like them niggas play a dangerous game. I feel like that's why I said I agree with what Fat Joe said. Them platforms ain't being built off like healthy conversation, really trying to uplift our community and our people. I feel like it's certain people that, you know, don't get me wrong, they still should thank the fucking hip hop game and entertainment, because the same people that you made a career out of tearing down, like, made your career. We gave you something to tear down. We gave you our shit to tear down. And you know, and then you go, like, don't get me wrong, like the whole boy shit with the whole Treyway shit and all that shit, we spoke about it before. Like, come on, man. But you stand next to that and still honor that, like that shit was a whole motherfucking mess. You know what I'm saying?
Do we think piggybacking off of what you said, Richie, like, do we think that certain platforms, like certain people, wanna feel like they into that street stuff, but they really not, but they like,
Yo,
they-
you
they
can't
feel,
listen.
Hold on, but they feel like empowered, right? Because they having these conversations, because, you know, when, like, for the whole, like, for example, like Vlad TV, like, you see how he, you know, utilize, you know, our people, like, you know, the rap people, the culture, our people, like, I'm a rapper or something.
No, but still, our
you know,
people,
our
yeah,
people,
Wally D.
you know, you know, he brought those people on those platforms and kind of exploited them to some capacity.
All right, so look, this is going to be. So this is what I do with all of this. If you have a conversation and there's no rebuttal or pushback, the conversation ends. It literally changes your content from a 15-minute show. If you present the opposite arguments on the show, you could get a 90-minute show, right? So if I look at, I'm a fucking, what was the dude's name back? Like a Ted Koppel. You know who that is? Like these was
Ted Koppel.
Like Ted Koppel, it was like big news reporters back in the Peter Jennings.
Like a Geraldo. Geraldo?
Peter
Geraldo.
Geraldo was the toughest.
So saying Geraldo, Peter Jennings, journalist, right? Would you say that Geraldo exploited the Ku Klux Klan because he did so much content on the Ku Klux Klan and that they made his career? Sometimes, right? I'm just trying to think about I'm trying to break it into journalism and remove myself. I'm trying to remove myself as a urban black man, right?
Right.
And be like, yo, it's motherfucking people that made their whole career interviewing terrorists. There's people that made their career sit down with a serial killer. They got documentaries made their whole life. So if you want to say this, without them serial killers that you interviewed and made Netflix specials and, you know, I Am a Murderer, you could go and watch I Am a Killer on Netflix right now, a whole series.
Yep.
You could say this person wouldn't be successful if these murders didn't happen. We know that the things and the crimes take place, and then we have what we call a journalist. Is it strange sometimes that if a white person does it, they're just a journalist? If a black person does it, he's exploiting his people. Because motherfuckers will go on 2020.
I think the situation is different because you know, in those instances, you know what's about to be asked. You know why you coming on 2020. You're not just going about to, you know, shed light on your music and then the motherfucker want to bring out, you know, a police case.
But they know that on Vlad.
And to be honest,
do we know that though?
Yeah, listen.
It's
Do
all
we know
about
every
views.
time? Do we know about every time that he go in there? Every person knows that he gonna come with a sidebar.
Listen, Vlad TV is so notorious. Niggas almost act like they can't wait to tell their street activities on Vlad.
Right.
Vlad is not coercing niggas. At this point, niggas love the shine of being on Vlad and being like, I'm a real nigga, Vlad, real rap. I ran up and did such and such and such and such. It's so many countless episodes of Vlad and people just telling on themselves.
Vlad is a whole different little thing, right? I don't even want to get into that. But back to what you were saying as far as like the Geraldos and the previous journalists, and even now, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I don't see no platforms where it's white journalists tearing down white people or pointing out white people for the shit they did wrong or bringing them on board. Like,
have you watched CNN?
I was about to say, bro, because
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Trump supporters and CNN, like, we're hating on those people.
Well, Trump is a whole different ballgame because, you know, they say Trump was beefing with, like, they
what
said
I'm
Trump
saying
like
is
had
MSB
Fox. Fox was like his news
the
station.
news is against white people too. They're against each other. If you go on Fox, they're
yes.
Republican, and CNN and MSBSN are both Democrat, and obviously they're fighting each other.
But have you ever seen somebody?
Hell yeah!
Listen, hold on.
I watch CNN every morning.
So how many people have we seen though? Like when it comes
they
to
tear each other apart.
I've never seen it.
Really? Look at the Democratic race right now in PA. Fetterman and the what's his name? The doctor.
Who?
That are up against each other for the Senate.
Oh, Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz, yeah, they're going at each other. Yeah. They're both like white people.
Niggas,
who's going at each other though? Hold on, who's going at each other?
Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz and Fetterman.
So two guys are going at each other.
Definitely.
I'm not
He's
talking
saying,
about
have you ever
that.
seen an
I'm talking about platforms that specialize
No, he's saying this
Barbara Walters goes off
Porta,
everyone. She used to it.
Porta, hold on. Let's no, they're not. What we're saying is this. If I tune into a certain thing, that's what I tune into, that's what I see. Tracks tell me all the time, my algorithm on my IG looks different than his. I see different things because that's the shit I tune into. If you're not watching what's going on in the white business and political world, them motherfuckers not, when I say tear each other up, my nigga, they bring up everything about each other. And I'm talking about the products that they selling, they dealing with China. This motherfucker cheating on his wife. This motherfucker right here did this. His kid is a fucking crackhead.
There's no limits.
Like
It's all about sensationalism.
it's when I say on a remarkable level, I had to teach this to my girl during the Trump shit where the people stormed the Capitol?
Oh yeah.
I taught this to my girl. I said, yo, I'm gonna show you something. We was watching CNN.
Yeah.
If you watch CNN, and this is just world news, it is like it's a different world happening than when you turn on Fox.
Yeah, and I watch CNN.
When you turn on Fox, yo, it's like a complete different story
Totally
about
different.
The same thing.
about the same story.
It's crazy.
So they actually often do. So I just want to make sure.
I just feel like, I'm gonna be honest, I just feel like the things we've heard about certain white celebrities and white big artists that we had, and yo, they did this, they did that. All that shit was shoved under the rug to me. None of that shit never really hit the fan. No charges was never really pressed. Like when we deal with that shit, charges get pressed. Soon as it come out, oh, they say he raped the fan and slept with a girl. Lawsuits, charges, full press pressure, and I just feel as though, and I still stand on it, maybe I'm looking in the wrong places. I'm definitely listening to y'all and I'm tapped in. Like maybe it is on the white platforms or the white people that expose white people, and I'm not tuned into that.
Yeah,
But
you're
for the
not
most
tuned
part,
in. Or it could be a
for the
status
most
thing.
part, I feel like a lot of that shit gets shoved under the rug. I definitely feel like white people don't call white people out how like color people call color people out. We call our own people out. We don't give a fuck because we've already damn near been trained to hate each other anyway. We come from that, and we trying to get that right. And it just enables us and helps when it comes to calling each other out.
So I'ma just say this. I used to grow up watching like Bill Maher. That shit was ruthless white on white drama every fucking week, nigga.
But
I'm
these
talking
people
about.
are
I grew up on the other nigga, Rush Limbaugh, racist. I used to hear niggas like that stick up for nothing but white shit.
Yeah,
And
that's
trash,
a different person.
but I'm just telling you, that's
But
what
the
I. But
other
that,
side,
but that's
like
what I
Bill
put.
Maher
But
wouldn't,
listen, like Dev
support
said,
that.
we all be tapped into different algorithms. I'm just telling you, y'all can't
There's
fault
two
me.
sides
Listen,
of every story.
no, and I agree with you, and I believe you, Angie. I believe you. I believe it's some amazing, European people out here that deal with love, respect, like what we should deal with as humans. I agree with you, but what I'm telling you is that off my algorithm and shit that I've been tapped into, I just feel like white people definitely not like putting their own out there, like how kind of like we do, and kind of like how they do us. Because they put us out there along with our own people. Like, it's more of it when it comes to us. And
You sure? Because I think they're even stricter when it comes to white people. You can't even like cheat on your wife. Look at the Clintons.
shit, listen,
I mean, you
and
can't
shit
even
like that- listen,
stick a
Angelina.
cigar in someone's pussy without fucking the
it's
whole
honestly,
world knowing.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And shit like that, it might be more more discipline and more penalties for the white people. But for real, let's be honest. Like, we seeing a lot of shit where white people walk away. They walk off.
That does happen.
On dead.
I'm not gonna lie, that does happen.
Listen, dead wrong shit.
Hell yeah.
They killing motherfuckers with no they ain't even
I
find,
agree.
they
When
ain't
it's like
find
cops
they ain't
or
even find a
something.
nail clip. They ain't even find a nail file clipper in the car, and they killed this motherfucker. And the white people walk.
Hell yeah, I think that's more in southern states.
So, but this is what I'm telling you, that just don't sleep on the white people in power, all the way at the tippity top, and what they can do for their own. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is that when it comes to like this academic shit, sometimes, like again, I haven't seen like a whole bunch of like amazing interviews where we learn new information about a nigga, healthy information. Well, we ain't know that nigga did that. Oh shit, we ain't know that's how the nigga made the hit, like some of the dope platforms
What
do,
do you
right?
mean? Look at Trump.
I'm talking about
Watch a documentary.
Listen, I'm talking about academics again, though. The guy who we talking about. I'm just saying, as far as him, I've seen him do more negative and be into like the negative shit. But then when you get a nigga like 6ix9ine, now you positive.
So check this out. If you're talking about academics, right? He literally.
I'm talking about all them niggas. It ain't just him. It's a couple of them.
What I'm saying is academics, right? Seems to focus on. He built his whole fucking career off of a certain core subject matter, right? The same way you come to the Devinwade Show and we don't give you that subject matter, he gives you the certain core subject matter from day one. if he was doing an episode where he was reporting on Dr. Oz, how many people would watch that? You wouldn't even turn on that episode because you have no investment in the doctor.
I ain't turning him on, period.
All right, but what I'm saying,
just telling you.
I'm
not turning him on. He's not my cup of tea.
I'm talking about
Good.
any of the platform. Hold on, wait. I'm talking about any platforms. You're not interested in what's going on with Dr. Oz, are you?
Cool, no.
No.
Then again, who knows?
But I'm saying,
health.
do you watch what I'm saying?
What they talking about?
Porter,
No, seriously.
I know.
Don't be into
No,
him. He's bad.
healthy P. So we know that you're healthy P. But what we're saying is, if you're not interested or even know who these players and characters are, you are not watching the things where they go crazy on each other. Because if you watch fucking, what's the dude's name, InfoWars, and all the shit that they be going on there, that shit ain't about black people. That shit is they're trying to bury each other
Watch
underneath
John
the
Oliver.
earth.
Listen,
Sunday nights HBO. I watch it every week.
Listen, to my white folks out there, let me tell you something. To my white folks, right? I love people, bro. I love all people, bro. So don't ever get me. I'm never going to let whatever hatred happened in the past, even the hatred happening now, I'm not going to let that turn my big heart that's full of love into a fucking hatred thing. Never. But at the end of the day, like, you know, the only way we're going to get to a better place, and that's with all of this shit, not even just with white people, because we got shit we got to work on, right? I just feel like we got to be honest, man. And let's be honest, like, some of these niggas out here be contradicting themselves. Some of these niggas be out here talking about they for the people, they for the community. They hate the rappers because the rappers' music is just totally bad for the hood. But then in another speech, they talking about they rape women. And they cool with that. Like, we gotta be mindful of that. I'm one way. I'm a one-way sign. That's what I was raised by. Niggas who go one way. We don't gotta practice this because we not lying. We not gonna forget no lines because this is a lifestyle. They not lines. So at the end of the day, I can't relate to that when niggas straddle the fence and niggas is wishy-washy. 1 minute you this, activist. Next minute you this, trash, garbage, waste management. Like, fuck all that. Pick a side, stay on it. All the weird shit, all the antics and all that shit, man. Listen, we don't need that. Like, at the end of the day, listen, we all gonna meet someday. I believe that we all gonna meet someday. I believe that when this shit, this pandemic shit, because remember, the pandemic been here for 3 years. Flights, airlines is damn near shut down. I know because I'm an investor, right? Like, but when shit start rolling again and we all flying again and everybody moving around again, it's gonna be easy. It's gonna be easier to see niggas, man. And my thing is, you gotta stand on everything you talk. You gotta stand on everything you on. And and I don't say that for nobody to be scared. I'm just saying, like, you know, think about it, bro. This life, I deal with love and respect. Even motherfuckers that's way on the West Coast, you could be in Australia. I'm not talking crazy about you, bro. I might be in Australia one day. Until a motherfucker disrespect me, and I feel it's a reason for me to be disrespectful or crazy, it's always going to be love and respect for everybody.
And my thing is going to be this. I'm going to end it off with this before we get to spinning the wheel. I believe that a lot of things that I'm not privy to is because I don't look into those fucking genres. So I can't tell you what's going on in jazz music because I can't say what niggas do in jazz music. I don't listen to jazz music. I listen to rap. I listen to Dirk, yo. I listen to...
He listen to all killer shit, but hate the killers.
I listen to Dirk, yo. I listen to Lil Kai from Jerome Street. I listen to motherfucker. Yeah, go
murder music.
Listen.
Real murder music.
Listen, I listen to Von. I listen to all...
I got murder on my mind.
Listen,
that's my shit. Why and Melly?
I like at one point, I remember like 2 years ago or whatever, they do the thing where it shows you how much you listen to something on iTunes.
Yeah. Right. You showed me that.
And when I put up my amount that I listened to Dirk, people couldn't even believe it. It looked like it was fake. Like, there's no way that a person listen to this many hours, but they got to remember that I'll draw for 16, 17 hours in a day, and the whole time, nothing but schmirk.
Right.
But don't get it twisted. I love the music. Hold on, Porter.
Go ahead.
I love the music. I love schmirk. It's my favorite. You know what I'm saying?
They just showed it. He got the most streams this year.
No, listen,
billions. Over Drake, everybody.
And they all for me.
Over Drake, everybody.
And they all for me.
Shout to Dirk, yo.
You know what I mean? I could separate the other stuff. When I see all of the other stuff and stuff like that, I could see like, man, this part I don't like. I hate this part. I hate this part. I hate this part. I hate this part. And still try to, and it is a hard thing to figure out, like trying to support artists that you know, like, yo, this person comes from this and they trying to get out the mud and they need other people to be playing their music and everything like that to support that. But at the same time, I know that if my views is on that, I know what's going on in that world. What I was saying with Porta was like, I can't say what they doing over here if I don't tune in over there. Right. That's all I'm saying. If I tune in over there and then I watch it and I'll be like, oh shit, these niggas is really, cause if I turn on them channels and they in there all going in on black people, then I'm like, damn, they going in on black people on all them channels and they going in on black people on the black channels. Right. But from what I saw, when I was on them white channels, they was going in on white people on another level. And I'm going to tap into the white channels. But real quick, for all you people out there that keep talking like these niggas want to rap like this, and don't get me wrong, maybe a few of them do. We'll pray for them, hope they change their ways. But let's be honest and stick to the facts. Don't act like every nigga from the hood wanted to rap about drugs and guns and violence and shit like that. Motherfuckers was police brutality and all that shit. People putting drugs in our communities, all that shit happened a long time ago. Way before motherfuckers was rapping about it. The raps came because the shit was really going on in our communities. Hold on, and another part is don't skip that. But this is the other part too, and this whatever. The biological scientific rapper was getting overlooked even by their own people. So, but again, I'm talking about amongst their own people. So niggas was coming with the Jones. Niggas said, man, you trying to kick knowledge. So the nigga said, you know what? I'm gonna take my same skill set, even though I don't trap. I'm gonna use the comparisons because it's actually easier to make gun comparisons. Jay-Z said some slick shit like that to Nas. He said, what you try? Kick knowledge. But then he also said, I wanted to rhyme like common sense, but I sold 9 mil. You understand? Right. Because he knew. So that comes from that as well. Can we get a motherfucking spin on the wheel? Y'all know we get, listen, y'all know we get to the points here. Listen, we get to the points, we debate, and then we right back. Best of us. Mr. Money Flying. We got Angelina back with that cake. Cake. Round cake, cinnamon cake, vanilla cake. It's all here. The Devinwade Show. Each and every Tuesday night. Subscribe now. Subscribe now. Let's go. Yo. Go ahead, Monica. Keep working. Keep working. While we can, we gotta put this on automatic. Let's go. Listen, y'all, we appreciate y'all tuning in with us every week. You know what I'm saying? We got the Wally Cam. Listen, man, let us know in the comments what you feel about the debates. We gotta bring you the debates every motherfucking week. For myself, for Porta Rich, for Walesca D. You know what I'm saying? For everybody, for Sin City that's not here today. You know what I'm saying? We out of here, y'all. Peace.